Did Falcons do? Rise up. Welcome to Rise Up Reactions, the show where we talk all things Falcons, NFL, Georgia sports, and general sports news of the day. I'm your host, Dr. Lee Denning, lifelong sports fan, and we're back again with another predictions video for the Week 8 of the 2022 NFL season. Last week, not the best week in the world, ended up going 8-6, so still, I've had a winning record like every single week so far, just definitely some things didn't go the way I thought they would. Falcons was more of a hope and a prayer pick, just with the optimism that I had for them. Didn't end up panning out. I did pick the Colts over the Titans just because I thought the Colts might be turning it around. It looks like they are now going to bench Matt Ryan for Sam Ehlinger. I believe I would have to look him up because I recognize the name. I think he's the former Texas quarterback, maybe. I'd really have to look him up because that name just sounds familiar, but I don't know why. Commies beat the Packers. Don't think anybody expected that. The one that no one expected, Tampa Bay Buccaneers losing to the Carolina Panthers. And then I'm trying to see if I had any kind of upsets that I picked over anybody else. I mean, the Jets being the Broncos, at the time it seemed like a good pick or possibly an upset. Nope, no real major upsets here, just kind of looking back. But anyway, in the 99.6 percentile, so falling off a little bit, 67, 40, and 1 on the season. Let's jump right into Week 8 and talk about our games here. So, Thursday Night Football, one of the few bangers that we have left for Thursday Night Football. We have the Baltimore Ravens at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, the Bucs are coming off two god-awful losses. There's not a single team in the NFC South that has a winning record right now. The Bucs are still the number one team right now, but thank God they lost to the Panthers because that means that they're still tied with the Falcons. So the Falcons still have a chance to come back in this division. Ravens finally closed out a game where they had a lead, though they tried to give it up at the very end of the game. But the Ravens did manage to stiffen up the defense there at the very tail end of it and won in a one-score game, very close by the end of it with the Cleveland Browns. The Browns did have a chance to tie the game. They also had a chance to possibly win the game with Amari Cooper, but they just couldn't do it. So I am going to go with the Ravens over the Bucs. Just the Bucs do not look good. Tom Brady looks like Father Time has caught up to him. He is not the same player that he has been. There's a lot of personal strife going on in his life, and certainly nobody wishes that on him. But, there's a lot going on for him mentally that's not working out right now. Now, it is in Tampa Bay, so, could Tampa Bay come out and put a clinic on against the Ravens here? Certainly they could. The Ravens overall, though, I look for Lamar to start taking some steps forward here. They are down. J.K. Dobbins, I don't have him for a little while here. But Gus Edwards did step up as their running back, coming back off of injury. So as one goes down, another rises. So I do like the Ravens here. Give me the Ravens over the Bucs to keep everybody in the NFC South below 500. Then we go to the 1 o'clock, actually a 9:30 game. This is the 9:30 game for the London game. Broncos at Jacksonville. Jacksonville, again, they are not a terrible team. I have no idea why they just traded James Robinson. He has been a workhorse for them for 3 years, and they have not appreciated him at all during his time there. All he does is run well, catch the ball, and get 100 yards when you get 100-plus yards when you use him as the workhorse, but they refuse to do it. So with the injury to Breece Hall being a major impact in the New York Jets. Now they have a very, very viable running back who I would argue is just a slight step below Breece Hall, and when you look at his entire body of work. But anyway, Denver, they are reeling. They are very bad. If you watch That's Good Sports with Brandon Perna, he has now put out 3 videos in a row calling them the worst game ever played, the real worst game ever played, and I think there's another one that I can't remember the name of, but he's not wrong. They are playing bad football right now. Russell Wilson didn't play this last week, but it doesn't matter. Brett Ripien, whatever the heck his name is, they're just playing bad. Their defense is okay. They're still keeping the score under like 20 points for the most part, but they can't score more than 10. If you can't score more than 10, Jacksonville Jaguars in their future home stadium in Wembley or wherever the heck it is in London, they will end up winning that. So I go Jacksonville here. America says 2-1 Jacksonville. I agree. Then we move on to the 1 o'clock slate. Carolina at Falcons. Now, a week ago, or before the Bengals games, I would have said, and before the Panthers Bucks game, I would have said this is a no-brainer. Falcons are playing so well. We're going to win this all the way. I still think the Falcons are going to win this game and go 4-4 and possibly take over number one in the division. Carolina Panthers, though, are not dead in the water. They are turning it around a little bit. They're finding ways to be creative. They shut out the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which has a potentially potent offense, but they just found a way to do that. It was not a particularly interesting game other than the fact that they managed to find a win where I don't think a lot of us thought they could. So give me the Falcons here, but I think it's going to be a very close one-score ball game. Then we move on. We have the Chicago Bears at the Dallas Cowboys. Now, Chicago, I don't know what woke up in Chicago last night, but they found a way to destroy the New England Patriots. So I am upgrading them slightly in my mind to making them be more, again, the number 3 or 2 team in that division because the Packers don't look particularly good. But you are going up against the Cowboys. Now, did Dak look particularly good coming back? No, he was more of a game manager. They didn't really unlock that next step of their offense, but their defense is still incredibly stifling. So this is going to be, I think, a defensive battle. I don't know what the spread is on this. I would imagine it's probably 45 to 47 points. I would probably take the under on this one if I were a spread guy. I am not and don't pretend to be, but this just seems like it's going to be a defensive showing. It is in Dallas, so I give the edge to the Cowboys. I think it's going to end up being... I think it'll be a convincing win for the Cowboys, but I think ultimately it'll only be by 5 or 6 points. But, those last points may come at the tail end of the game as Chicago is already pretty much out of it. So give me the Cowboys here. I do like them. Next, we go on to the Tua-led Miami Dolphins at the Detroit Lions. Now, Amon-Ra St. Brown went out with an injury this past week. They still don't have DeAndre Swift back that we know of. They don't have not Jamal Williams. Yeah, no, what's his name? Yeah, the receiver that they just got from Alabama. I can't say his name off the top of my head right now, but they're down a lot of weapons. Their offense doesn't look as potent right now. Give me Miami. Miami is playing good football. They are still a little injured. It was Tua's first game back, but it was a convincing win overall. Even though it was a one-score game, I would still call that a convincing win the way they played. Give me the Dolphins over the Detroit Lions. Detroit, I'm sorry, you're looking like kind of the worst team here because your defense is just so bad. I think Miami comes out and wins by more than 2 scores. Then we have the Arizona Cardinals, who looked really good on offense at least, and their defense had 2 pick sixes, which didn't hurt, against the Minnesota Vikings in Minnesota. Now, Minnesota has won a lot of close games this year, and I think this will end up being a close game, but with DeAndre Hopkins back, I'm going to pick the Cardinals here. I don't know why. My gut is just telling me that Kyler Murray is about to unlock a new mode of that offense with his favorite target being back. Robbie Anderson didn't play a big role this past week. He'll have another week in the offense to kind of work and figure it out. They still have Zach Ertz. Benjamin is still around. James Conner may or may not be back this week. They could start turning into the offense that went 11-1 last year in the first 2/3 of the season. The Vikings, I still feel like are just kind of a pretender at that 5-1. I know they're good, but they're just... something about them just doesn't seem right to me, so I'm going to go Cardinals over Vikings, even though the Vikings I still think are going to win that division in the long run. Next, we have the Josh Jacobs-led Raiders going to the New Orleans Saints. Now, both teams are only 2-win teams, but the Raiders, I think, have a much more potent offense and probably a little bit worse caliber defense than the Saints. Saints are reeling on offense, even though they had a decent game against the Cardinals. I do look for the Raiders to win this game. America tends to agree 7-3 that the Raiders are going to win. It would not surprise me at New Orleans to see the Saints win. That is, again, having been there, an incredibly hostile environment. So I do think that they're going to win. So the Raiders are going to win, but I think it's going to be a very close game there. So give me the Raiders. Then we have the New England Patriots at the Jets. Now, New England Patriots just got embarrassed, and I think this was a 50-50 game up until last night when they did get embarrassed by the Bears. I don't think Bill Belichick lets that happen again. If Breece Hall was healthy, I would have 100% picked the Jets here. I think they're a better team with Breece Hall. I know they just got James Robinson, and I speak incredibly highly of him, but he's going in first week on the offense. He's not going to be the feature. Michael Carter is going to be the feature, and I think they're going to end up having to be creative in ways to get the ball to Carter and to Garrett Wilson. And I still don't think Zach Wilson is the key there for them at quarterback. He doesn't look particularly good. He's elusive, but he's not particularly good at completing passes. So I do think the New England Patriots bounce back. Mac Jones, I don't know if he's going to start or Bailey Zappe's going to start. I don't think it really matters. I do look for them to run the ball effectively against the Jets, even though it's going to be a stout defense. And I think in a close game, the Patriots will pull it out at the Jets. So give me the New England Patriots here. Then we have the last 1 o'clock game of the slate, Pittsburgh Steelers at Philadelphia Eagles. Pittsburgh Steelers can't score points. That's it. They just can't score points. The Philadelphia Eagles can score points. Give me the Philadelphia Eagles. Easy enough. Moving on to the 4 o'clock games. And I'll come back in just a second. Sorry, y'all got a little bit of a hay fever there, so just had to blow my nose a little bit. So again, going into the 4 o'clock games, we have the Tennessee Titans at the Houston Texans. Houston, bad football team. Tennessee Titans starting to emerge as the best team in that division. It's not even close. 19 to 1 pick the Tennessee Titans. I also picked the Titans. I don't think it's going to be that close. I think they're going to run all over them, and I think the Tennessee Titans are starting to emerge as a team that has a chance to win a lot of games, but are probably going to go out early in the playoffs. They just don't look like a good playoff contending team, but they do look like the best team in that division right now. So give me the Titans here. Then we have another AFC South matchup, or rather the AFC South is the home team. Indianapolis Colts did not look good against the Tennessee Titans this past week. They do have Jonathan Taylor, and they're going up against the Washington Commanders, who found a way to beat the Green Bay Packers. I don't know what to say about the Green Bay Packers. They suck right now. I don't know if the Commies are good or if the Packers really are that bad. Either way, Taylor Heineke does have some magic with that offense, and they should leave him in the game with the Washington Commies. The Indianapolis Colts will be going with a new quarterback, but he may be better as a game manager. And I still, in Indianapolis, will give a slight edge to the Colts. I think this should truly be a 50-50 split, though right now it is 70-30 Colts over Commies. I think this will ultimately be one that I could be very wrong on. The Commies do have a decent offense with Heineke, and their defense is not the worst in the world, but it's not great either. Indianapolis, for whatever reason, I feel like at home they're going to bounce back and they're going to win, and they're going to find a way to keep it close in the divisional talk with the Titans. Just now they have 2 games that they've lost to them. Moving on, we have a couple more 4 o'clock games to talk about. We have the 49ers at the Rams. Rams are coming off a bye. They don't really know what they're doing at the running back position right now. They do have Darrell Henderson. They don't really, Cam Akers is not a factor anymore. They do have Cooper Kupp. You have Matthew Stafford coming off of a bye week here. 49ers coming off of a tough loss to the Kansas City Chiefs. They do have Christian McCaffrey in the offense for now 10 days, so he's had a little bit better chance to get acquainted with the offense. He should be a little bit more of a focal point. Again, for the same reason that I picked the 49ers earlier this season against the Rams, Kyle Shanahan and that San Francisco 49ers team have the number of the Rams in the regular season. So I'm going to go 49ers. It wouldn't surprise me if the Rams at home win, but I do think the 49ers are going to pull this one out. America thinks it's a 50-50 game. Then we have the Giants at the Seahawks. Giants continue to find ways to win, though it is not impressive the way they're doing it. They've had a couple of good wins and a couple of wins that you're just like, what the hell happened here? The Seattle Seahawks are turning into a very potent offense, something I don't think anybody expected when Geno Smith was announced as a starter. Their defense is not particularly great. They're giving up a ton of points, but that doesn't matter. If you can score 30-plus a game, it doesn't matter what your defense is doing as long as they're giving up less than 30 a game. So, give me the Seattle Seahawks over the New York Giants, a West Coast game with the 12th man. Seattle is starting to get their groove here, definitely emerging as a better team in the NFC West. Give me the Seattle Seahawks over the New York Giants. I think the New York Giants are favored, but I do think in Seattle it should be them. Now, then we have what should have been a good game, the Sunday night football matchup, the Green Bay Packers at the Buffalo Bills. This is setting up as a trap game for the Bills. The Bills should win this game. The way they're playing, they should win this outright, not even freaking close. Because the Packers are awful. They are absolutely terrible. They have so many things wrong with them right now. Aaron Rodgers doesn't look good. Their receiving core, Alan Lazard is it on the receiving core. Nobody else can catch a pass for them. Their rookies are all terrible. Their offensive line is not looking great. They're not running the ball. They ran the ball 12 times this last week with two of the best running backs in the NFL. 12 freaking times in a close game. Run the damn ball. Oh my God, run the damn ball. But anyway, Green Bay not looking good right now. I don't think they're going to turn around in a week. I do pick the Buffalo Bills here, as most of America does too. It does feel like a trap, though. It would not surprise me if the Packers find a way to turn around, start turning their season on fire after this. But the Bills just look like they've got everything going for them in a cold game in New York. Give me the Bills here. Then we go to it's a game that's going to be played because I think that one team has a much stronger position than the other. But Cincinnati Bengals coming off of an amazing offensive showing against the Falcons, going to the Cleveland Browns, who, again, I think are fairly hapless right now. They've managed to keep some games close. But give me the Cincinnati Bengals. Not even close here. 92% of America agrees. Give me the Cincinnati Bengals. And that's what we got for Week 8 in the NFL, guys. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. I would love to know if you're following along with me, what your record is. Talk about games that you think that I'm overlooking here, or if you think something different in any of these. I would love to know. I definitely have a couple of hot takes, but some of them are just going with the masses. Consider liking the video. It'll really help me out and help me reach more people. Subscribe. That'll also help me out and help me reach more people. But thanks for watching. And again, as always, rise up.